Now, I know I've told you that you cannot get closure from a narcissist. It's something that they will not willingly give over to you. And that is true. But I found a loophole and I'm going to share it with you today. I'm going to share the one way that you can actually get closure from a narcissist. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Common Ego community. My name is Christina. On this channel, we talk about emotional abuse, spirituality, and self-development. Today, we're talking about how to get closure from a narcissist. And I know that sounds like some magical fantasy thing, right? And it kind of is. But like I said, there's a loophole. There's a workaround. And if you're struggling to get closure on your own, especially if this person is breadcrumbing you, I really wanted to share this one trick for finding that closure from this person. So you've probably heard the phrase, actions speak louder than words. And if you've watched this channel for a while, you know that one of the things that we talk about is how narcissists, well, their actions and their words are very rarely aligned. So let's put those two things together. The actions should speak louder than the words. And the actions and the words are not aligned. So what is their true intent? The only way to know is to look at their actions. So in this video, I want to break down some of the common actions, common revealing actions of a narcissist and translate what those things really mean. And hopefully in the process, you'll be able to find some closure. So one common behavior of a narcissist is gaslighting. They love it. It's one of their favorite tools, right? But what does it really mean? What is the translation? When somebody is gaslighting you, what they're essentially saying is that I only care about you as long as I can control you. I need to control your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and your behavior. And if I can't, then you're really of no use to me. And that brings me to the next point. Somebody who's gaslighting you will only keep you around as long as you're useful. They're gaslighting you for a reason. They're gaslighting you because they're getting something out of it. And when they can no longer control you, you will no longer be useful to them. And if you've been through this with a narcissist in your life, it's time to start thinking about whether you really want that in your life, whether you want somebody around whose only goal is to control you. Another behavior that you'll find with narcissists always is devaluation. So we go through the stages of a narcissistic relationship and you have the idealization phase, sometimes referred to as love bombing. And then you have the devaluation phase. Now that is ever present in any serious relationship with a narcissist. And the translation for that is, I am worth more than you. I am valuable. You are worthless. Now, of course, as I say these words, I want to point out that is absolutely not true, but that's the message that they're sending, that they are better than you. Because really what devaluation is all about is about making you feel like you are worth less. And unfortunately, it's often effective. But when we break it down and we look back at what this person is doing, that they're actually doing this, they're actually making you feel this way, it might be easier to separate that and to see that someone actually made you feel this way and that you don't need to feel this way. And imagine somebody saying these words to you. You're not worth as much as I am. I am more valuable than you are. If somebody actually said those words, it might give you the closure that you need. Next, we have triangulation. And triangulation is similar. When a narcissist is triangulating you, what they're saying is that someone else is worth more than you are. So this happens a lot when somebody has a narcissistic parent and they tend to triangulate their children. So there may be a golden child who seemingly can do no wrong, and then there may be a scapegoat child. This can also happen at work, and this can happen in romantic relationships too. Your partner could put someone else above you, put someone else on a pedestal. And maybe it's an ex, maybe it's a friend that they're having an inappropriate relationship with. It really could be anything or anyone. But what they're saying, the translation to this is that someone else is worth more than you. Again, it's not true, but that's the message that they're sending. And again, it's time to think about if someone actually said that to you, if someone said those words, would you want that person in your life? Would you allow them to speak to you again? So next I want to talk about breadcrumbing after a discard. So if a narcissist has discarded you, but they're sending out little messages here and there, maybe they're even being a little bit flirty, they come back around and they make it seem like they want a relationship, but they're not really committing to anything, or they make it seem like, they want you back in their life, but then they disappear for a while. Unfortunately, the translation for breadcrumbing is, I've made it very clear that I don't want to be with you, but kind of want to keep you as a last resort. So if somebody said this to you, somebody said those words to you, what would you do? Would you block their number? Would you slam the door in their face? Would it feel like closure? So the next common behavior that I want to talk about of a narcissist is ghosting. But with this one, I want to point out that not only narcissists ghost, it's just become a very common thing to do these days, and it is highly narcissistic, and it can be done for various reasons. I have a video that kind of goes through all of that, and I'll link to that one. I'm not going to cover that stuff here. But when a narcissist ghosts you, what they're saying is, I think so little of you that I'm not going to give you an explanation. I'm not even going to take the time to end this. It's not even worth my time. I'm just going to block you from everything and move on with my life. Essentially, your feelings mean absolutely nothing to me. And a similar behavior that often has some overlap is the discard. Now, a discard with a narcissist, it could actually be done as ghosting, or it could be done in a very kind of blunt and brutal way. But the translation for a discard is, I think so little of you that I'm willing to just cut you out of my life. It doesn't matter that we've been friends for years, that we've been in a romantic relationship for decades. It doesn't matter. I'm cutting you out. You will never hear from me again until you do. Now, not all narcissists hoover, but so many of them do that I definitely want to cover it here. So the next common behavior is the hoover after a discard. The translation here for the hoover after discard is, I'm using you to fill the void, and I will continue to use you to fill that void until something else comes along or until I get bored. And I'm probably going to keep doing this for as long as you'll allow me to. Now, if someone were to actually say those words to you, if someone were to actually be honest about what they were doing, that would probably give you the closure that you need to move on. You would know exactly how this person felt and what they were doing. But like I said earlier, there's that saying that actions speak louder than words, and I believe it to be true, especially when somebody's actions repeatedly tell you who they are and how they feel about you, most importantly. So it's really these actions that we have to pay close attention to. And yes, there are times when we need to practice forgiveness in our lives, and we might want to allow somebody back in who has hurt us. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about here is when you have been in a cycle of emotional abuse, when you've been in a toxic relationship, and this person is repeatedly hurting you. Yet the intermittent reinforcement that you've been experiencing all along and maybe are still experiencing has got you feeling like you have no closure, and it's got you feeling like that door may still be open, like you may end up going back to this person, or they may end up coming back to try and get you back. This video is for those of you who might be feeling stuck, might be feeling like you're not 100% sure that that relationship is over yet, so you don't feel comfortable moving on. And if you've experienced any of these things that I've talked about here on this list, I hope that the translations can help give you some closure, because, and this is really, really important, there is so much better out there. You deserve so much better than any of this. All of these things, all of these translations, they say more about the person who's performing these actions than they do about you. They say nothing about you. You say who you are. And now is your time to do that. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, be sure you're subscribed, and I will see you next week.